My name is Joanne, and welcome to the One to Another podcast. Today, we're going to talk about be the kind of person other people want to sit next to at the game. Be the kind of person other people don't mind losing to. Well, football season's starting. There's all kinds of sports happening, and I am one of these kind of people that always has my pom-poms ready to cheer. And am I invited to anything, you will always find me with pom-poms, and I always want to help in any way I can to be an encourager. And so when I have an opportunity, I think I want to be the kind of person that other people want to sit next to at the game, as long as I'm not too loud in my cheering. So, what we don't want to sit next to at the game is people who cling to resentments, people who do not know how to handle disappointments with grace, people with long memories and are short on forgiveness, people who choke on the words, "I'm sorry." People who sulk, pout, whine. Even really smart people who do these things end up losing at the end of the game. Doesn't care what kind of game you're in, if you don't realize what you're clinging on to, you know what? People don't want to sit next to you. Losing gives us an invaluable window into the development of our character. Boy, if that's not true, I don't know what is. How do we do when we're part of a team that makes a decision that we oppose? Good question. How do we handle it when a promotion we applied for goes to somebody else? How do we do when our proposal or invitation for a date gets rejected? How do we do? To live is to lose, but to lose gracelessly can be lethal. In other words, if you don't know how to lose, it's lethal. Sometimes people say you're just a poor sport because you didn't win. I think that we are taught that we do have an attitude adjustment to learn how to be in a place where we are expecting that promotion and we don't get it, and somebody else gets it, or somebody else gets a huge raise and we don't get it. And then, how are we going to handle that? It's sort of like this whole thing about how do you handle disappointments? Well, I know this, that true self-esteem comes only from knowing what we can handle with reality, which means both wins and losses. And I've said this before, true humility doesn't mean you think less of yourself, but that you think of yourself less. So losing well is an art that requires all the grace we can muster. It means having humility to face reality full in the face with no excuses, but the confidence not to allow losing to define our identity. So if we don't get a promotion, if the team we're on loses, that doesn't mean that we're a loser. It just means that we face something, we weren't the ones chosen, and so we have to look at the fact that, okay, I am going to learn how to live with this disappointment, and it means no excuses, no blaming, no self-pity, no self-condemnation, because it's easy when we don't receive the winning ticket or we don't receive the winning job. It's so easy to move into self-condemnation. Well, you didn't do enough, and we beat ourselves up with a wet leather belt, and that's not healthy for us. True self-esteem means acquiring the discernment to know when to quit and when to persevere. Sometimes we realize if we didn't get the promotion, if we weren't the one that was chosen, we have to learn to decide if we are to quit or to persevere. Now, my personal feeling is I have to learn how to say congratulations. I can remember this has been a long time ago, but I can remember when I was still driving. This was after Joanne died. I was still driving a pretty old car and didn't have air conditioning. But it was a good car, and I wasn't in a place at the moment that I could upgrade. And here comes one of my really great friends driving a brand new car, air conditioning, everything in it that was absolutely perfect, lovely color, everything. She drives up, honks a horn, wants me to come in and go for a ride. And, there was this moment I thought, oops, how come I don't get a new car? And I thought, nope, not going to go there. Got in her car and said, oh my goodness, this car is beautiful. I'm so thrilled that you were able to get this car. Congratulations. And I just raved about it when we went for the ride. And then when we got out of the car, I said to her, do you care if I anoint this car with oil and pray for you and pray for this car that, you get great gas mileage, that you don't have any accidents, that you're protected, and in every way, I just want to bless this car. She said, well, I've never had anybody bless a car. Well, is it okay? Can I do that? Well, sure, she said. And so I did. I anointed the car with oil. I prayed over that car. I prayed over her. And I felt like it was my final, maybe, touch of congratulations, being positive, and not moving to the place with, well, how come? How come it didn't happen to me? So learning to say congratulations when we aren't the winners, but somebody else is, I think it helps us become a lot more humble and appreciate what we do have. And I've learned that you have to learn how to let go of an outcome. I cannot change, but to hold on to the fact that I will live fully and well. And I think that's very important. It's sometimes the same thing with somebody getting a huge house or somebody getting something that is much better than ours. And are we willing to come and be the kind of person that says, congratulations? I just think we have to learn how to be accepting of where we are in life without looking behind us saying, how come this didn't happen to me? And I think it helps to learn to win gracefully when you are the winner. I think graceful winners always remember what it feels like to lose. They are caught up in something bigger than their own wins and loses. I guess this has been many years ago, but I was chosen chaplain of the year for hospice. Hospice is a pretty large organization in Oregon, and I was really surprised when I found out that I was chosen as the chaplain of the year. And I can just remember that my first thoughts were, wow, Lord, thank you for this gift. I'm grateful. I don't even feel like I deserve it. There's other people that I'm sure are better chaplains than I am. But I'm thankful that this gift has come my way. And I just learned at that moment just to be humble and grateful for the honor. And I remember not long ago, this was recently, that in our hospice I was chosen, employee of the year. No, employee of the month. That's what it was, sorry. And when my boss called me and told me that I was chosen employee of the month, I said, oh, I think there's lots of other people that are much more worthy of this than I am. I think that you should reconsider and give it to someone else. And she started to laugh and said, no, there's a group that votes on it, and we really want you to have it. But it's in those moments when we are honored that I think it's really important that we have a humble heart and learn to accept it with graciousness and just to be able to say thank you. I think also part of learning this whole thing about being a winner or a loser is that learning to forgive gracefully. When we are playing a game, you may win or lose, but for certain, sometimes we get wounded. And to deal with that hurt, you need the greatest kind of grace available, and that grace is to forgive. Imagine being assigned to carry a rock the size of a bowling ball around with you all the time. It's heavy and inconvenient, but you can never put it down. It's called a grudge. We have interesting language around grudges. We talk about them the way we talk about babies. You can hold a grudge, you can carry a grudge, you can bury a grudge, you can nurse a grudge. There's so many ways that you can carry a grudge. When you nurse something, you feed it that which would keep it alive and make it grow. Pretty soon, it's full grown. There's lots of ways to kill someone, and you can do it with harsh words, gossip, or withdrawing. Keep doing that week after week, and over time you find where you once had love for a person, you now have a heart of stone. The forces of bitterness, resentment, judgment, and coldness are at work and destroying the capacity to love. So, if you have a hard time losing and you don't learn how to accept the loss, and it moves down inside of you and you carry a grudge, you will find that some way and somehow it does destroy the capacity to love the other person who was the winner. So the traits of a person other people don't mind losing to, well, they have wisdom and knowledge, which includes abilities like curiosity, love of learning, non-judgmental, and great social graces. Learning how to say thank you, I'm proud of you, I appreciate you. And they're courageous. They persevere with integrity. Real integrity is doing the right thing, knowing that nobody's going to know whether you did it or not. A capacity for kindness and expressions of love. The ability to bring fairness and leadership. The qualities of self-control, humility, and prudence. The appreciation of beauty, the expression of gratitude, and the ability to hope, and the capacity to have joy. Just to have joy in who you are, where you are, learning to accept the wins and the losses. It says in Romans 12:9 and 10, love from the center of who you are. Don't fake it. Run for dear life from evil. Hold on for dear life for good. Be good friends who love deeply. Practice playing second fiddle. That actually says it. Practice playing second fiddle. That's Romans 12:9 and 10. So, am I going to be comfortable sitting next to you in the game of life, or at a football game, or at a tournament of any sort, or at church? Are you the kind of person that I want to sit next to? I hope so, because I believe there's a lot of lessons to be learned from losing and winning. So today I hope that when you think about how you handle losses and how you handle winning, I hope you take one more step in your healing and let go of those grudges and receive freedom to be who you are.